Breaking news, the New York Times has obtained an email from Deborah Katz, who is one of Professor Ford's attorneys, basically opening up negotiations, saying that she would be prepared to testify next week. Of course, Chairman Chuck Grassley has set a hearing for Monday potentially, but she's saying that's not possible. So they're in the process of negotiating, in an email apparently just sent to senior staffers on both sides of the Judiciary Committee. We know that Chairman Grassley had set a deadline of tomorrow at 10 a.m. for her to let the committee know whether she intends to show up on Monday. So we have ongoing negotiations clearly between attorneys representing Professor Ford, Judge Kavanaugh's accuser, and the committee, trying to see if they can work something out for at some point next week. She clearly doesn't want to do it on Monday.
The woman accusing the Supreme Court nominee of sexual assault now signaling she may be open to talking to lawmakers, but not on Monday. Lawyers for Christine Blasey Ford say she's prepared to testify next week if the terms are fair and ensure her safety, which is important. We're also learning that Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee are trying to get answers about this allegation. Staffers interviewed Kavanaugh under oath and have reached out to potential witnesses, but Democrats, they're not participating. Even though the facts are not clear, the left is already claiming Kavanaugh is guilty. Here's Democrat Congressman Adam Schiff.
They should get to the bottom of this, and it wouldn't take that long to do. This is the same crowd that waited a year to fill the last vacancy during the Obama administration on the Supreme Court. So why this rush? And I think they realize they have a very imperfect candidate. In fact, they may have a candidate who's committed attempted rape.
And then there's this new line of attack coming from Democrat Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Who is not asking the FBI to investigate these claims? The White House. Judge Kavanaugh has not asked to have the FBI review these claims. Is that the reaction of an innocent person? It is not.
So how can this be settled? Here's Judge Napolitano with some interesting analysis.
Subpoena her. She decided to go to the press. If they subpoena Dr. Ford, if they subpoena the therapist notes, if they subpoena Dr. Ford's husband, who, according to Dr. Ford, was there when this incident was recounted, then they can interrogate them.
Well, would what we know so far about this case, would that stand up in court?
Absolutely not. It's too ephemeral. It's too indefinite. It's too, I don't remember.
Right.
Most judges wouldn't even let a jury hear it.
Okay, so here we are now, Jesse. We know that she's willing to come, but not on Monday and under terms that are not yet established.
She does not get to dictate the terms that she testifies to the Senate Judiciary Committee. It's not her role. And, you know, I believe she's got a lot of lawyers around her that are getting cocky and they're trying to drag this thing out. And it's clearly a delay tactic. There's just tons of new information that really begin to cast doubt on the honesty and integrity of the Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee. First of all, they still have not turned over the original letter that Ford sent to Dianne Feinstein. They've been hiding that from the Senate Republicans. They're not acting in good faith on that. Ford, as well, has deleted her social media account right before she went public. I wonder what she didn't want people to see there. And Ford's attorney also said, only on Monday, this is just 3 days ago, quote, "My client will do whatever's necessary to make sure that the Senate Judiciary Committee has the full story and the full set of allegations to allow them to make a fully informed decision." And then literally 3 days later changes the entire story, doesn't want to testify, but may testify next week, but only on our terms. This is not how people operate in good faith. Katz, the lawyer for Ford, are ignoring phone calls and emails from the Senate investigative staff. And as you mentioned in the open, the Senate Democrats aren't even participating in the conversations with Kavanaugh and the alleged witnesses where they are under oath. Kavanaugh has been under oath to the chief counsel of the Senate Judiciary Committee under the penalty of perjury. He's been under oath that way, and Ford has not decided to go under oath. Also very interesting, it's getting extremely political. Ford has hired a former Clinton and Biden advisor. It doesn't look good if it's become this political at this point. It looks like the Democrats are making a partisan play here to delay and delay and delay, and there's less thought being paid to getting this alleged victim's story out there in an open forum. And I can't believe I'm quoting a senator and reading this letter. The Grassley letter to Dianne Feinstein.
That's a masterclass of letters right
is
there.
one of the best letters I've ever read, and he goes through point by point.
How many have you read?
Two. The other one was from Ted Cruz. No, and he says this request for the FBI demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of how the FBI operates, and you understand this.
Are you
Dan.
going to read all that?
I don't want to read it, but I just want to
highlighted a lot.
I just want to summarize it.
Okay.
The Democrats are not operating in good faith, and the Senate Republicans have bent over backwards to accommodate this woman and have done anything possible to allow her to get her story out there. And so far, all we're seeing is delay, unfortunately.
The other thing is that Senator Tammy Baldwin of Minnesota had booked a fundraiser with the Accuser's lawyers, but now has canceled that because it probably didn't look too
Not
good.
a good idea.
But I saw you, you think that the Republicans have not been accommodating to her?
I don't think this is a question of how the Democrats have acted. That's actually not what we're talking about here. What we are trying to determine is how we can get to the closest version of the truth that we can know decades later. I think she should testify. I also think that Kavanaugh should testify again, and I think Mark Judge, who she alleges was in the room, should testify. If there are any other witnesses, they should testify. I think she should do it quickly. I don't think Monday is some magical date on the calendar that if she doesn't show up that day, she's clearly lying. She's working to find a date next week that works. This woman never wanted to be public. She has death threats. She's had to leave her house. This is not a pleasant experience for anyone involved. So let's give her the opportunity to find a day next week that works and not impugn her reputation when we haven't even heard from her yet.
Would Tuesday work? Is Tuesday better than Monday?
Well, ask Dr.
How dare
Ford.
you ask such a question?
No, this isn't about the Democrats and how you don't like their behavior. It's about how to get Dr. Ford, Kavanaugh, Mark Judge, any other witnesses to testify, to find out what truth we can, and then the senators can determine whether that changes their vote or not. That's how the process works.
It seems to me
That's not crazy.
Everybody's been pretty accommodating except for one group. We talk about the death threats and how part of the terms is to guarantee her safety. Who's against that? No one's saying, I'm sorry, you're going to have to take the bus and wear a sign around your neck. No one's going to ask you that. Everybody understands death threats. If you work in the media, we get it. If you want to know about going into a den of lions, just watch Dana Lash at the CNN town hall over gun control. Okay, people understand danger, but that can't be used as protection against coming forward after you have made something public, which is possibly destroying a person's life. You can say, well, how dare you say it could destroy this man's life? Because according to Adam Schiff, he is an attempted rapist. Well, by Adam Schiff, what could he have done? Where is he? Could you accuse him of something? How would his family feel if he was accused of something? This is not the America that I know, where you have due process, where a politician can just go, hey, maybe he is guilty of attempted rape. Maybe, even though the evidence is kind of ambiguous, and including the accuser isn't even sure, but we can just say they're guilty. We're in a time right now that is an incredible threat to our civilization because we are undoing an institution. Every single person is vulnerable. Every person. Your husband, your father, your son. Because if all of it takes is an unsubstantiated accusation in which the accuser can then say, whoa, hold on, not so fast. You're all screwed. You're all screwed.
He's going to get
let's get
confirmed
you in
now.
here.
Well, he's going to get confirmed.
But that's not my point. This whole
point.
thing is Jesse hit on something that I think everybody here needs to digest. They are absolutely correct. These Senate Democrats are not stupid. They are fully aware of how FBI background investigations work. I actually did backgrounds for the federal government as a Secret Service agent. Let's be crystal clear what they are and what they aren't. They are criminal history checks. They are under no circumstances criminal investigations. There's a difference. If I'm investigating you for the Supreme Court, I check your NCIC history and I check with your neighbors to see if you've been arrested. If the neighbor says to me, hey, Marie may be dealing drugs out of her house, I don't investigate that as a Secret Service agent. I contact the police.
I would go to her house, though.
You're obviously not dealing drugs.
I have all the
my
drugs
point
in
with
my
this whole thing is
house.
the Senate Democrats are not stupid, and they know this. So them asking for the FBI to do a criminal investigation either speaks to their grotesque ignorance, which is not true, or the fact that, as Chuck Grassley accurately stated, it is purely an obstruction tactic. I did this. That does not happen. They do not do criminal background checks on this. Full stop on that.
Well, we'll see what happens. That's we make that our permanent tagline. We'll see what happens.
That's from Trump, you know.
I know, but he said it yesterday, too. That it was
See, he's
President
right
Trump's
about
favorite
everything.
line.